I've been with my girlfriend Clara for just over 2 years. We live together. We split chores. We laugh at the same stupid memes. Nothing dramatic, nothing toxic. We've had our fights, sure, but nothing major. So when she mentioned that one of her co-workers, Jake, was throwing a birthday party last Saturday, I didn't think twice. She told me I was invited too, said it would be fun. But I'd had a long week, back-to-back deadlines at work, barely sleeping. The idea of standing around sipping drinks with people I barely knew didn't appeal to me in the slightest. I told her, "Babe, I'm gonna sit this one out, just not in the mood." She smiled, kissed me on the cheek and said, "No problem, I'll go solo, shouldn't be too late." Totally fine with me, I trusted her. She'd mentioned Jake before, described him as basically a brother, some harmless goofball she shared a team with. Never got weird vibes, never questioned it. She left around 7 that night, dressed up but nothing over the top. Just casual, cute Clara. She texted me once when she got there, saying it was a chill vibe. Sent a selfie with some co-workers, plastic cups in hand, all smiles. I responded with a thumbs up and told her to have fun. Around 9:30, she sent another text saying they were doing shots. I laughed and told her not to get too wild. She didn't reply, but I figured she was just enjoying herself. Normal stuff. I threw on a movie, scrolled through Reddit, and waited for her to come back. By midnight, though, I started to feel a little off. I sent her a quick, "Everything okay?" message, nothing too needy, just checking in. No response. I waited, watched the phone light up a few more times from group chats, but nothing from her. I stayed up a bit longer, refreshed messages, tried to convince myself I was overthinking. Eventually, I crashed on the couch, phone still in hand. She hadn't come home. I woke up the next morning with a stiff neck and a growing knot in my stomach. My phone was still in my hand, screen black. I checked it immediately, still no message from Clara, no missed calls, no notifications. Just that last text I sent her around midnight, floating alone in the conversation. It was past 8. She hadn't come home. That's when the panic really started to set in. I tried to tell myself she might have stayed with a girlfriend, that maybe she was too drunk to come back and crashed somewhere safe. But she would have told me. She always tells me. That's just how we are. I opened Instagram thinking maybe she posted something. Nothing. Checked Jake's page, then scrolled through stories of people she follows. There were a few clips of the party. Dim lights, loud music, people dancing. But nothing with Clara. Nothing recent. I texted her again. "Hey, just checking in, you okay?" Then again, 15 minutes later. "Let me know something, please." Still nothing. By 9:30, I wasn't just anxious, I was angry, not knowing anything, not getting a single message, while your girlfriend is God knows where overnight. It messes with your head. I started going over everything in my mind, every possibility, every worst-case scenario. Was she okay? Did something happen? Or was she just ignoring me? I called her, straight to voicemail. That's when I started pacing. I wasn't sure what I was more upset about, the fact that she hadn't come home or the fact that she hadn't even bothered to let me know. It felt like I didn't matter, like she didn't think I deserved to know where she was. Finally, around 10:30, my phone buzzed. A message from Clara. "Hey, sorry, I crashed at Jake's, my phone died." That's all it said, like it was no big deal. Like staying over at another guy's place, Jake, of all people, was just a regular Saturday night. I read it twice, then again. My hands were shaking. I stared at her text, heart pounding. "Hey, sorry, I crashed at Jake's, my phone died." No follow-up, no explanation. Like that single sentence covered everything. Like I was supposed to read it, nod and move on. I didn't even reply at first. I just sat there, processing. Jake's place? She slept at Jake's place? The same Jake she said was like a brother. The same Jake I barely knew, but who got casual mentions here and there like he was just part of the background? I kept thinking, how does your phone die and you don't at least borrow someone else's charger? Or shoot off one quick message before it dies? You don't have the decency to let your boyfriend know you're not coming home? And then you act like it's nothing? I called her. She picked up after a few rings, voice still groggy like she'd just woken up. I didn't even try to hide my tone. "What the hell, Clara? You disappeared all night and I get one text at 10:30 in the morning. She sighed like I was being dramatic. Relax, I told you, I crashed at Jake's, my phone died. I didn't plan on staying, it just happened. It just happened? I snapped. You couldn't have told me you might not come home? You couldn't have texted from someone else's phone? I was tired. We drank a lot. I fell asleep on the couch. It wasn't a big deal. It is a big deal to me, I said, louder than I meant to. You disappeared. I had no idea if you were okay, if something happened, and then you say you slept at another guy's house like it's nothing? He's not just some guy, she fired back. He's Jake, you know that. That made it worse. Because yeah, I knew who Jake was. I knew exactly who Jake was, and that was the problem. I wasn't trying to yell. I didn't call her to fight, but everything came out raw and fast. I was pacing around the living room, phone pressed tight to my ear, trying to keep my voice steady, but I was already too far gone. You don't just stay at some dude's place and think that's okay, I said. You didn't even think to check in. That's not normal, Clara. She groaned. You're seriously blowing this out of proportion. I didn't do anything wrong. We had drinks, I got tired, I fell asleep. That's it. Why are you making this a huge deal? Because you vanished, Clara, I shouted. You didn't text, you didn't call, you didn't come home. I sat here all night wondering if something happened to you, and now you're acting like I'm crazy for being upset. She was quiet for a beat. Then came that defensive tone I know too well. I'm not going to apologize for being safe and responsible. I didn't want to drive drunk or walk home alone. Jake offered his couch, so I took it. End of story. Then why didn't you let me know? I pushed. That's all I wanted, just a message, a call, something. I told you, my phone died. Come on, I snapped. We both know that's not a good enough excuse. People don't just go completely off the grid. You could have borrowed a phone, you could have told me before your battery ran out. Hell, even a damn note on the fridge would have been better than waking up to nothing. You're being controlling, she said, suddenly cold. I didn't cheat on you. I didn't do anything wrong, you're just insecure. That hit different. All I was asking for was some basic respect, some awareness that I existed while she was out drinking and sleeping at another man's place. But somehow, in her eyes, I was already the villain. Jake had always been in the background of Clara's work stories. Some harmless guy on her team who made bad puns and brought snacks to meetings. She called him Jake the Jester once. Made it sound like he was everyone's goofy little brother. So I never worried. Every time his name came up, it was in that innocent, dismissive tone. Jake said the dumbest thing today, or Jake tried to fix the printer and nearly set it on fire. Always jokes, always light. And yeah, I'm not the jealous type. I never felt the need to dig or question her friendships. I trusted her. But now all I could think about was how familiar she must be with him to just crash at his place. How comfortable she felt. How unbothered she was telling me after the fact that she stayed the night there. No hesitation. No remorse. I thought about how many times I let things slide. That time she stayed late at work for a team dinner. That time she mentioned going to a movie with a couple co-workers, Jake probably included. Every little detail started to feel bigger in hindsight, and I hated myself for it. Was I blind this whole time? I never even met the guy. She never brought him around, never made any effort to connect us. When I asked about meeting her work friends once, she waved it off, said they weren't hangout outside of work people. But clearly Jake was. I started replaying everything she'd ever said about him, looking for clues I might have missed. Had she downplayed him on purpose? Was she hiding something? Or had I just been too naive? And still, one thing kept circling in my head. If Jake was really just like a brother, why did it feel so damn wrong that she chose his place over coming home to me? Why did this feel like betrayal, even if nothing technically happened? And why was I the one being made to feel crazy for thinking so? I didn't want to make demands. I didn't want to be that guy, controlling, jealous, unreasonable. But after everything that happened, I couldn't just brush it off. Something had shifted, and I needed to draw a line. We sat down later that day. Clara was calm, almost bored, like she was just waiting for me to get over it. I didn't shout this time. I just looked at her and said, I don't want you spending time with Jake anymore. She blinked like she didn't understand the words. Are you serious? Dead serious, I said. I'm not okay with what happened. I don't want this happening again. And honestly, I don't feel good about you being close with him at all anymore." Her face hardened instantly. "So now you're telling me who I can and can't see." "I'm telling you what I need to feel respected in this relationship," I said, keeping my voice as steady as I could. "You vanished. You stayed the night at another man's place. You didn't tell me. And now I'm supposed to act like nothing's wrong." She crossed her arms. "You're acting like I cheated on you." "I'm acting like I don't trust the situation," I snapped. "You wouldn't be cool with it if I did the same thing. If I got drunk and slept at some co-worker's house, you'd lose your mind, Clara." "Yeah, because I know how girls are," she said. "Jake isn't like that." I laughed, bitter, sharp. "So your logic is it's fine because he wouldn't make a move? What about you? What about how it looks? What it says about how you value us?" She stood up. "I'm not cutting off a friend just because you're insecure." And there it was. No apology, no reflection, just a wall. I wasn't trying to control her. I was trying to hold on to something that suddenly felt like it was slipping right through my hands. After that talk, something shifted between us. It wasn't immediate, but it was there. Quiet, heavy, cold. Clara didn't yell. She didn't argue. She just started treating me like I was the unreasonable one. Like I was overreacting to something harmless. Like I was making drama where there was none. I'd try to talk, and she'd sigh, roll her eyes, walk away. Anytime I brought up how I felt, she threw it back at me, told me I was being possessive, that I was trying to control who she's friends with, that she didn't do anything wrong. And the more she defended herself, the more I started doubting myself. Maybe I was overreacting. But then it got worse. She started talking to her friends about it, our mutual ones, and suddenly people who used to greet me with warmth were giving me side glances and awkward silences. One of her friends, Lucas, even pulled me aside. "You can't tell her who she can and can't hang out with, man," he said, like I was some kind of dictator. "It's just a trust thing. Trust." That word kept getting thrown around. But no one seemed to care that she disappeared without a word, that she crashed at another guy's house, that she didn't think it was important enough to even mention it until the next morning. Apparently, my trust was the problem, not her choices. And she leaned into it. She acted like I was the one who needed to grow up. She'd say things like, "Maybe this is why guys and girls can't be friends, because men always assume something more." She turned it into a lecture, like she was the evolved one and I was just insecure and immature. It hurt. Not just the situation, but how quickly she flipped the narrative. I went from boyfriend to villain in a day. And the worst part? I started to believe it. I started to believe that maybe I was the problem. The days that followed weren't just tense, they were hollow. Clara stopped trying. She didn't check in, didn't reassure me, didn't say a single word to ease my mind. Instead, she acted like the conversation was over, like my feelings had been logged, dismissed, and archived. But for me, it wasn't over, not even close. I kept replaying it. The party, the silence, that text. Jake. Her brushing it all off like I was being paranoid, and I couldn't stop wondering. What if she was hiding something? What if something did happen and she was just never going to tell me? Or worse, what if nothing happened and she really just didn't care enough to let me know? I started questioning everything, every late night, every time she forgot to respond, every "it's just work" explanation. I wasn't like this before. I wasn't suspicious. I never went through her phone, never asked who she was texting. But now, I was spiraling. And the worst part was that she didn't seem to notice. Or maybe she did, and she just didn't care. One night I asked her quietly, "Do you even understand why this bothers me?" She didn't even look up from her screen. "Yeah. You're jealous." That was it. That was all I got. No empathy, no accountability, no recognition that maybe, just maybe, I had a reason to feel the way I did. And in those moments, I started to feel completely alone in the relationship, like I was the only one holding on, the only one who still cared enough to be upset. I didn't want to be that guy, the clingy one, the insecure boyfriend. But when your partner disappears and reappears with a shrug, and you're the only one questioning it, you start to wonder if you're crazy or if you're finally seeing things clearly. Either way, it was starting to change me. I sat with the thought longer than I wanted to admit. What if the roles were reversed? What if I had gone to a co-worker's party, gotten drunk, and crashed at a female colleague's place without saying a word? What if I texted Clara at 10:30 the next morning with a casual, "Hey, crashed at Sarah's, phone died"? She'd lose it. I know she would. She's done it over less. I once missed a call because I was in the gym and didn't text back for an hour. She accused me of ignoring her on purpose. But I'm supposed to be okay with her going totally off the grid and sleeping at some guy's place. It wasn't even about cheating. It was about respect, consideration, basic communication. But whenever I tried to explain that, she flipped it into some trust issue, like I was weak for even being affected by it. She said I was projecting, that I couldn't handle a woman having male friends. As if I didn't understand the difference between a friendship and something else. As if I hadn't accepted Jake's presence for over 2 years without complaint. It wasn't the friendship I questioned. It was the choice to sleep over, the choice to not communicate, the choice to dismiss me when I brought it up. And I kept thinking, why was it always me adjusting, me rationalizing, me calming down? When did my feelings become optional? Every time I looked at her, I wondered if she'd even be upset if I walked out, or if she'd just tell herself it was better this way, less drama. I started feeling like a placeholder, someone convenient when things were easy, disposable when they weren't. And that double standard? It dug in deep. Because if love isn't mutual in how we treat each other, if I'm expected to swallow what she'd choke on, then what exactly are we doing? At what point does standing up for yourself start looking like the only way to stay sane? So here I am. All of this started with one night, one party, one choice. She went out, stayed over at Jake's, didn't tell me, didn't check in, didn't think twice. And when I reacted, when I got angry, when I said I wasn't okay with it, somehow I became the bad guy, the overreactor, the insecure boyfriend who just can't handle it. And maybe I did yell, maybe I let my frustration explode, but I didn't insult her. I didn't accuse her of cheating. I just said I didn't feel respected, that I didn't want this happening again. That Jake, like a brother or not, crossed a line in my head the second she chose his couch over our bed. I didn't think that was unreasonable. Still don't. I tried talking. I tried explaining. I even questioned myself more than I should have. But all I got in return was coldness, judgment, and zero effort to understand where I was coming from. Now she's distant. Our friends are divided. Some think I'm right to be upset. Others say I'm controlling. And Clara? She's living her life like this is already in the rearview mirror, like I was just a blip in a story she's already rewriting. And I'm stuck here, replaying everything, asking myself if I let my emotions take over. If I pushed too hard, if I should have just let it go, but deep down I still feel it, that twist in my gut telling me something wasn't right. So I'm putting this out there. If your girlfriend stayed out all night, didn't tell you where she was, slept at a male co-worker's place, then brushed it off like you were the one overreacting, would you be okay with that? I don't know anymore. Am I the asshole?